This is the Polar 4-man tent, and it's going to be the hottest new quick pitch tent for overlanding and car camping, I guarantee. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Polar 4-person tent. Yeah, that's the name. It's literally just the 4-person tent is the name of the model. That doesn't really give you any indication or description of what this tent's about, other than you can fit 4 full-size adults in it ostensibly. But there's more to this tent that makes it something that I think you might be interested in. Because, well, we're kind of in the backlash of overlanding right now. What I like to call the automotive backpacking era has begun. And as part of that, we're all starting to scale back on all of the things that we have. And there's a lot of us that have gone as far as rejecting rooftop tents. And in part of that search for rejecting a rooftop tent, well, I've been exploring other options, trying to find what the best alternatives might be. And I think I found a good one. This might be the best quick pitch tent on the market for you. And I'm going to show you why. This is all starting to look a little familiar to you. You might be thinking this is some sort of Gazelle product, you know, like a T3 or a T4. Well, close. But unlike a Gazelle product, this only has 2 hub panels. Just like that, it's already set up. Okay, 4 stakes in, there's a large A-frame behind me. The things I'm noticing right off the bat versus like the Gazelles is that the way this is, it's very open and meshy. A Gazelle tent's designed to be a single wall tent, so ostensibly, you know, you have to unzip a lot of things just to get some air and ventilation moving in there. You get to a hot climate where you just need the bug protection. Well, this is one of those things where you could sleep under the stars really easy in a hot climate with no rain coming, and be well bug protected, but yet still have a nice open airy view of your tent. And I'm sure that looking up through that thing at the stars is going to be pretty impressive too. I'm going to put the fly on it and see how that goes. That didn't take too long. And there's something I liked about that when I did that, and that's this rain fly actually covers the entire tent. Like, you know how most rain flies, there's still a little bit of the foot of the tent that kind of will stay uncovered. Well, that's not the case here. It's completely out and around from the outside of the tent. So I got a lot of good faith that this thing's not going to get wet in the middle of the night, even if you get a bad rainstorm on it. You're pretty thoroughly protected, and it's a good thing. What? What, the tent?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
We're all staring at the window watching. I'm like, I ain't going out there.
Well, and it's underwater too, so I'm not messing with it.
Yeah, that one was dry on the pool.
Yesterday when I set this up to kind of test it and start the review, we had a rainstorm move in. Well, I left the camera going inside the tent on purpose. fly did its job perfectly to shed rain. However, I was an idiot and I left it pitched inside of a hole. So of course, when the backyard flooded here, it flooded the tent out. But no problem, I was able to bail it out, pick it up here, reset it, and I dried it out this morning when I got done with my morning workout. Now, after having seen that, I can tell you that I have every confidence that this thing's going to be great in rain and in the weather, provided you pitch it correctly in the correct location. And well, the materials, I did think, you know, they're a little bit lighter than a Gazelle, but I still think that this thing's going to hold up very well. The floor could have maybe used to be a little bit heavier, so I would definitely look at using a tarp. I didn't see a floor saver available anywhere on Polar's website or any of the vendors that carry the tent, but you could easily cover that with a tarp on the ground and then set the tent down over it. Now, some things and considerations. This is definitely not really a freestanding tent. You are going to want to be able to stake it wherever you go, because the way these two hub panels sit against each other, they kind of want to walk in sometimes with the weather or just you moving around or the tent dragging around, so you're going to want to stake out all four corners. Other thing is once you put the fly on, there's a hook in there. You're going to want to clip the hook to these hubs and then extend guy lines out from the hubs just like you would with a Gazelle tent, because a big gust of wind could ostensibly blow this thing in on itself. Another thing I have my concerns about, the tabs that hold back the mesh and the rain fly when you roll them up, well, they don't have a hook and loop. They're just a regular hand tie. I mean, I'm getting nitpicky here, but it kind of is nice to just be able to have something that you push a toggle through a loop, and if you're done with it, you don't have to tie everything. The other thing, I don't think the bag's gonna last. The bag is really light nylon, so I don't think that this is something that was designed to be riding on the roof. But at 57 inches long and only 7 inches across in the bag, it's probably not that hard to get it in the back of the vehicle if you think about it and accommodate it. It's hard to gauge, I realize, how good this tent's gonna be just by setting it up in the backyard for one night. And well, this is gonna be my new tent going forward for, well, at least the next 6 to 8 months to a year to try to really feel this out, and it'll be featured on the channel and we'll talk about it at some point, and I'll give you a long-term review later on down the road after I've used it for a while. Now, as far as sleeping accommodations in here, this is big enough that I think that a nice folding cot will probably be my bed of choice in here. And, well, there's enough room that I have space to put my gear in when I'm sitting out in the woods chilling or whatever. And the fact that this is only 14 pounds and it sets up and takes down so easy means that I don't feel like this is really overkill for just me or just me and my kid. Although, let's face it, my kid hates sharing a tent with me anymore anyway. He just brings a one-man and goes off on his own, so that's kind of a moot point. Now, if you're interested, I will put a link in the description below. I did pay for this tent myself, although I did get it at a significant discount, but that wasn't through any deal we negotiated through the channel with Polar. I just used a discount that I got from an online retailer that I work for, which enabled me to get this at a significant savings. Now, what it does retail for right now is $300 even, and that's, well, and that's less than what you'd pay for a Gazelle these days or another comparable four-person tent. You're in the kind of the price point of just a regular old standard four-person tent at that price point. This is built, like I said, just as good as any other tent that I've really seen at that point, so I wouldn't worry about my money at all. If I had to pay full retail for this and I could afford it, I definitely would so far. Now, that may change as time goes on, but of course, that's the fun of making YouTube videos. Like I said, if you're interested, link in the description below. Till next time, I'm Matt Kester. You can find the channel at Secondhand Overland on the Facebook and the Instagram, or our website, secondhandoverland.net, where you can pick up the latest and greatest secondhand overland merch. Till next time, be good.